Boom, Shangri-La. I'm a nervous wreck today. Oh, I tell you. Last night, I had this dream. I woke Doofus up screaming in the middle of the night. I had this dream last night. Well, what it is, Doofus, my stepbrother Doofus, he sleeps on top bunk. No, sorry, I sleeps on top bunk and he sleeps on bottom bunk. But it's like, well, I did my bed out, so because Doofus wanted to be a car mechanic, so I did my bed out like a car. So Doofus sleeps on bottom bit, so it feels like he's in a car. You see, it's under a car, fixing it. So that was the idea. So yeah, because we're on the bunk beds, you see. So Doofus is on the bottom bunk, I'm on top bunk. But yeah, I woke him up having like a panic attack, stroke, nightmare thing. Oh, it was horriblest dream I've ever had. And I dreamt that Doofus were the king. Oh, it were horrible. It was like, you've seen the film 1984, haven't you? We're like the Thought Police, right? Remember in the film 1984 with the Thought Police, right? This were like that, only you weren't allowed to think. Under Doofus's rule, let me just give that a blast with thorough dry it. Let's get that. That'll do it, ain't got to be bone dry. Yeah, you weren't allowed to think under Doofus's rule. You just he had the Thought Police, same as in the book 1984. You weren't allowed to think, and like like on 1984 where they had the big telescreen and they watched you through your telly. It was like that, and it had that big thing up saying "Big Brother is watching you." This had a big thing up saying "If you think, you stink," and that was Doofus's motto. And he was like, he weren't like some politician. He was like the king and just a dictator. So everyone had to do what Doofus said. Oh, it was horrible. It was scary. I hope Doofus never actually becomes king. That was the scariest thing ever. So I woke up screaming in horror and woke Doofus up as well. Well, it serves him right, because he was the thing what made me screaming in first place. If he weren't so stupid in first place, I wouldn't try to dream like that, would I? Let's pop a bit of this darker green up here into here. I think I'm going to pop a bit more in there. Oh, that's nice. Oh yes, just getting a few different shades in up there. It's slightly further back looking, that bit. A tiny bit more. It seems to be a bit of a darker looking thing. Set some burnt umber, some yellow and some blue, and get a nice dark green in there. That's it. Some dark greens. There, something like that. And it sort of gradually lightens up. Oh, can you imagine it? Doofus as king. You can understand why I've had such a bad time with my dreams, can't you? Doofus as king. Oh, it don't bear thinking about, does it? Let's whack this throughout. Well, there. Right. If you think you stink, that was his motto. Room 101. Do you remember Room 101 in Big Brother? Room 101 in this dream, right? That's where they put you if you got caught thinking, right? Put you in Room 101. It was just a room full of apples and one letterbox. And you had to sit there feeding Doofus through the letterbox, feeding him apples, because that's his party trick what he loves to do anyway. Well, that were room 101. Just sat there feeding doofus apples through this letterbox. Oh, I tell thee, it were frightening. Dalda. Yeah, proper dictator. He banned education. He banned books. He was just banning things. Well, some nice warm yellowy colours right at this front bit. Yeah, lovely jubbly. Shall I get our blast with third dryer? Why not? Need to blast with third dryer. I'll try and forget me dream. They put on this propaganda out there that really big teeth were dead good looking and massive ears. That's what his propaganda machine were telling everyone. So I'll do this pretty quick, I think, because probably whap a few sheeps in here. I'll have some more dark over there and about there, and then whap some yellow in that middle bit there, and then I'll have some more yellow across back of here, just there, even though that's quite far back. There we are, and I think that plenty of yellow at front for my warm colours to pull it forwards. Blue's a cool colour, yellow's a warmer colour. That's got more blue in it, a bit more, that bit there, so it looks a bit more distant than that bit. I'm not sure why, it just does on my wow. Right. Why don't you call me coffee? Oh, a bit of coffee left, lovely. All gone. Right. I think now there's quite a few rocks and things in here. Just get these flakes off, the little flakes of paper or bits of hairs on my brush. I'm not sure where it was, but wherever it was, get it shut on it. There we are. Right, I think now, what made me want this photograph I've got, it just is dead plain. They weren't hardly out on it, but there were big blades of grass and like shadows in the blades of grass. That's what made me want to paint it. So I'm going to get some of these blades of grass in, so that there's like a thing there, look, with some in, just like that, just big blades of grass like that. One about there. Oh, there's one. Actually, this one ain't got much yellow in it. There's a big one there. Stick that in like that for now. There's a lot actually. There's some here. Some more there, some more there. In fact, I might not bother looking where they are and just scatter them in where I want, because it will not be exact, has it? It don't matter where they are. It's my world. The world's my lobster, so I'll pop them where I want, innit? That's what Bob Ross used to say, innit? It's your world. Do what Bob Ross. I quote Bob Ross, and I used to go, "It's your world. Do what you want with it, innit?" That's what he used to say. Thing, something like that. I don't think he said anything like that, did he? I don't know what he said. I'm too stupid. I'm traumatised with me doofus dream. There were all these little bits, look. Might even get some even darker. Let's get some really dark brown, muddy type colour. I don't mind a touch of green in it, but mainly a dark brown muddy colour. Just a little bit at the base there, look, just on tiny bits like that. There's a lot in that one. So that's all my close-up uppens. Now I wonder if I can get, oh yeah, some little scrapes in there. That's perfect. A few little scrapes in. Don't think I'm going to go mental with my scrapes. Just put a few through each one. Got to go quick with this, because if not it's going to dry on you and then you're not getting any scrapes in. So rather than, and plus if you're going quick you get that random look what I'm always going on about, where it's sort of random and you get straight in there. So it's sort of whatever's random you seem to get a better looking thing than if it's not random. Right, I'm going to do some little ones with my rigger brush. I'm going to do them quite dark because I'm thinking they'll just stand out better dark. So I'm not going to do loads, just a few. I'm doing quite dark, so just mixing up a nice dark brown colour. In fact, let me get my bigger brush to mix my colour, else I'll be here all day. Right, some dark brown mixed up there. That should do wet. A couple of really dark browns. Put in there like that. Ain't got to go mentals with it, just a few. Less is more. That's what I say, isn't it? Less is more. That's what Doofus was saying about education in my dream. He didn't want, I think in my dream, Doofus didn't want anyone to get educated because he knew he would have to brush. He didn't like people cleverer than him. What were sort of most people on the planet. Right, these bits up here, I think I'm going to just use a sort of mid-green, mix a mid-green up, and just have some little grasses round up here. But instead, like I've done 3 different colours in them, because these are further away. There seems to be something about there, bit of something around there, because these are further away. I'm going to do them just in, these just in the one colour. Just a few little bits dotted about. Some bits. Right, there's something in here. Is there a little bush about there? Something, yeah, like a bit of a bush. There's something else sort of about there. Not even sure what they are. There's something else about there, but just little bushy things. Sure what they are. I don't suppose it matters what they are. There we are. There. Right, so that's that. Now then, there is a little tree in there, so I'm going to go for a even darker colour. Try and kill that green. I've not washed my brush, but I've just gone into that same brush. It's gone into a bit of Bontumber and a bit of Payne's Grey. It's almost like a black colour. And then to kill any green, in fact, green's gone. If I wanted to kill green in my brush, I'd just pop a bit of red into it. Right, there's a little tree thing about there, that looks perfect. And then I'll just get my Ickle Rigger brush into that same colour, and you can just see a few branches in it like that. That's it, that'll do, that's enough. Right, so that's that lot in. Rocks. You know what, I think I might use a smaller brush for my rocks, because they're not that big. I'm going to go to this brush. See how that brush ends all battered up? You can use that to do this spiky stuff if you want. Or if I wet it and point it, I can sort of point it, look, and use it for more accurate detail stuff and that, innit? Right, I'm going to mix a bit of Payne's Grey and some Bontumber and just get a dark colour. And just get ready to whack some rocks in. I could do with really, I want to mix quite a lot, so I could do with quite a thick paint really. So I'll mix quite a lot up. There we are. More Bontumber than Payne's Grey, I think. Right, that'll do. Let's get a few rocks in. There seems to be... Right, now this, well, I get my thing ready. I've got to go quick. I'm going to use that little one, so they're not dead big rocks. I've got to go quick out so not get me scraped. So look there, random and quick. There we are, one there. That's it. Hopefully, because I've gone quick, I'll get my things in. Look, quick as you can, or you not get them in. That's it. Then you can touch them bottom bits up after, if that wants. Right, there's some more. There's a couple round. Well, it don't matter where they are on my painting. I'm going to have a couple in here. I'm going to have them in these spaces. Might as well just fill my spaces in. Again, quick as I can. I don't know if, can you see what I'm doing with this, look? I'm just scraping it like that, look. Can you see that? So I'm scraping bits of... The sun's coming in this way on this one. That's a couple more. Now at the minute they look like they're floating, but I'm going to get some shadows on them in a minute, and then they're not look like they're floating anymore. One there. Right on that side again. So all I'm doing, I don't know if my hand's in the way, I'm getting that, and I'm just scraping like that, scraping paint off. That's all I'm doing. Any more? There's not that many more. That's one there, little one there. I'll pop a couple right up in the background and all, perhaps, shall I? Well, maybe. Actually, I can't. On my picture, I can't see any in the background. So, you know what? I think I'll just leave it. Right, so that's that done. Right, wash that brush, I think I'm done with that one. Right. Now then. This is what I liked about this picture. Shadows. So all these things here all had shadows. So, I tell you what, before I put shadows in, I'm just going to get a little brush, just pop a few low lights onto these rocks. A few little low light bits like that, look. There. Just something like that, some little low lights on there. Something like that. Some little low lights. It's like Doofus's brain, a low light. He'd kill me. Now if he watches this, he's going to kill me. If he were king, he'd have me decapitated. If Doofus were king, he'd have me decapitated for saying that. Doofus, I only drink real coffee, mate. You can't, no decapitated stuff for me, mate. I only drink real coffee, Doofus. Here we are, look. There. Right, now then, I need shadows. All them rocks look like they're floating, so I need shadows now. So, for my shadows, I'm just going to use a dark green. You can use a purple colour. I'm just going to use a dark green, I think. I'll mix up a nice dark shadowy green. So I've got some red, yellow and blue. Just mixing up a bit of Bon Tumber. So I've got yellow and blue for my green. Added a bit of red in to dull it a bit of Bon Tumber in. I was just looking for a really dark green, that don't look bad. So, and then probably even quite, let's get a bit of water on it. Just dipping back of my brush into some water and then popping it on. Sometimes I dip that end of my brush in my water and then just tap it on my board, put water in, so I don't wash any paint off that bit of my brush. Now that is tight. Right, let's just try a bit here. So this is, oh that's nice I think. That's it. So that's my shadow there, look. That's my shadow coming off all these. Every single one of these has got a big shadow on it. So I'll do all these first. Every single one got a big shadow on it. There, look. Got to be careful because some of them are looking like the shadow's darker than the actual thing. But if that's the case, I'll have to sort that out in a minute. Especially some of these further back ones. Yeah, if your shadow's darker than your thing, just pull it up a bit there, like that, so it darkens it a bit and makes them about the same, like that. Look. You can see what I'm doing there. My hand's probably way a bit like that, look. So you're just pulling a bit, actually that one's gone a bit too thick. But you know what I'm on about, innit? I'll water it down a bit, soften it a bit for them further away ones. That'll help a bit more. Let's try that. So I've got a watered down version now for these ones that's further back. There we are, look. Some little shadows coming off them. There we are. Right, these bushes here, got our little shadows on them, same with that one. And then this tree here, it's got quite a big shadow coming off it. There, like that. And then let's say shadow coming off from offside. Let's say there's a tree off edge of paper there. That always looks quite good. There we are. Now these rocks. These are all quite close, so let's get a shadow off these rocks. That's it. Shadows in off these rocks. They've all got little shadows on them as well. Pull a bit of brown into that shadow out of them rocks. Don't worry, because that'll look cool as well. That's it. Just little shadows coming off my rocks, because that sky's coming in. Sunlight, sorry, is coming in that way. So there's shadows on everything. Oak's a bit not subtle enough. You can smudge with a finger or whatever. Right, I think, let's tell you what, let's get it all dry. Whack a few sheeps in. Just looking, there's some little, get some paint, there's some little bushy things around here actually. Pop a few of them on. Another one about there. There's a couple more, but that'll do, I think. See, I can do shadows like that and all that. Pull it like that. See what I mean? Like that, get that, and then just pull it with your finger. Bit of finger painting there, look. These shadows in here aren't dark enough, so I'm just going to pop a bit of even darker under them. Just not too much. I'm not pulling it out right to end of my shadow. I'm just putting it in a bit on it and doing that. Same again. If you want to, you can soften end with that fingers. There, just like that. They're not quite sitting dark enough into thing. I don't want a massive difference between the bottom of rock and the shadow. See what I mean? See what I mean, innit? Remember Bruno used to go, do you know what I mean, Harry? Do you know what I mean? Frank Bruno. Nah, he were a good boxer. Frank Bruno, he could box. World heavyweight, Big Frank. Right, I reckons now let's whap a few sheeps in, I reckon. Musical talents there, musical talents. I don't want to show off, but I have got some musical abilities. Right, let's get some Designer's White Gouache. I call it gouache. What's it? Gouache. Gouache. Don't know. I can't read. Huh? Don't bother with the schooling stuff. If you're at school, concentrate, else you'll end up like me and Doofus. Mine and Doofus's, well, Doofus's stepdad, my stepdad, Doofus's dad, is basically paying for me and Doofus to have a job, shelf stacking, and he's paying them to take us on. So, how rubbish is that? So it's embarrassing. Well, having to pay someone to take us both on. So concentrate at school, kids. If you're a kid and you're watching this, concentrate at school or you'll end up like me and Doofus. It's embarrassing. It's not our fault. It's just Doofus's dad is just a bully. Don't see why we have to. He says we've got to do it because we've got to learn some work ethic. Yeah. It were better in my dream when Doofus were king. We didn't have to have jobs when Doofus were king. When Doofus were king in my dream, no one had a job. Everyone just used to sit round doing naught all day. But yeah, I think we're starting tomorrow on this new job what Doofus's dad sorted out for us. It's shelf packing it is. We've got to put tins of soup and stuff on shelves. So am I looking forward to it? No. People as artistic as me shouldn't have to go to work. No way. He said something about we've got to start paying as way in the world and paying taxes or something. Why we got to pay a taxi? It's only down the road. Says we've got to start paying our taxes. Well, he never does make any sense, Doofus's dad. So I've got to start paying me taxes, whatever it's on about. While I got this colour on, I'll just enhance some of these little shadows a bit more in it. There we are. Oh wow, look at that. Yeah. There. That's looking alright, isn't it? Some focal points there. Actually, my focal point's quite close to the middle at paper. You don't really want your focal point in middle at paper. I should have perhaps put them to the left a bit. It's not quite in middle, so it's okay, but you don't want your focal point dead in middle, really, because it looks a little bit naff. Right, I'll wash my brushes later. So, right, let's get some little heats. Put some little heats on these, and then when we've got some little heats on them, put some little pods in the sky. Right, so I'm thinking this is another thing what I might have bodged up a bit on this. It looks like they're all facing the same way. I think that one's got to have his head there. So this one can't have this. Let's put this one's head there. So he's just there eating a bit of grass. Can you see his head there? His head's there. I suppose, yeah, perhaps I can put his head up like that, so they're all different. So his head's down, his head's up. Yeah, that looks okay. Just need a bit dark for this one's head. There, that's better. Just see that, can't you? So, right. Let's wash that brush out. Now, all I need is a couple of little bods for Peter and Paul. Peter, Paul, aren't looking for worms in it. Oh, put my hand in paint. No, put a BD there. By Bertini. Shall I stick him some little ears on there? Little ears on him. Little ears, look. Yeah. There we are. What's that, I reckon? Does it look alright? It's just a simple one, there is. You know what I might just do? Just looking at it now. Just sitting back. Let me just sit back on it room, make sure I'm not making a mistake. But I think looking at that now, yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put just a couple more sort of layers in. Just to sort of, quite a watery paint, and I'm just going to pop in some little bits like that, look, just to get a bit extra texture round in this foreground. Just a bit extra texture, some light colours, some lower colours. There, that's better. Just some extra texture. That's some them sheeps and all. Extra bits, quite a bit going on up there. There we are. Right, that's dab some bits around there, soften it down a bit. You can dab some bits anywhere if you want. I think that looks a bit better, doesn't it? With that little bit of extra texture. In fact, yeah, that definitely looks a bit better. Right, not bad, just in a couple of bits in there, perhaps. There, I'm stood back now, holding my brush at the end so I can see what I'm doing. Just so I can see where I'm adding. And you know what, I think that looks quite nice at that. That's made a lot of difference, that little bit, what I just did. Right, and let's hope tonight there's no more dreaming about Doofus being king and that, because it was horrible. Doofus needs to stay in his place, or right at the bottom of society where he's safe, not like some lunatic. Let's get it dry. Some of these colours I've just put on are wet, so when they dry they'll be a bit fainter and it'll look better. If you want at people's that's prescribed to my channel, I just want to say thanks for your prescription. Thanks, it's brilliant that people's done a prescription to my channel. Feel honoured and that. So thanks a millions. Thanks millions. I wished I could count up to millions, but I can't. But thanks millions anyway. Right. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I don't blame you. There's other channels out there where people are actually teaching you how to paint rather than just waffling on about nightmare dreams they've had and stuff like that. My advice would be, don't watch this dribble, go somewhere else. Innit? See you on beach, innit?